Could you imagine Major League Baseball today without any African Americans? Could you imagine baseball without some of its great stars like Ryan Howard, Barry Bonds, and Dontrelle Willis? That's how baseball was not that long ago. White players played in the Major League, and black players played on loosely organized teams that eventually formed a league of their own. This is their story. Professional baseball was started in Hoboken, New Jersey in 1846. The teams were made up of amateurs and athletic clubs until the National League was formed in 1876. Black players were allowed, but not always welcome, in the National League and its rival leagues, the American Association, the Union League, and the Players League. Bud Fowler was the first to play on a white team. He was a very good player, but when a decent white player came along, he was dropped. By 1900, baseball was like the rest of America, segregated. Segregation's roots in baseball are traced back to 1876, when the National Association of Baseball Players ruled that black players could not uphold the gentlemanly conduct of the game. This only applied to amateur baseball, so black players were still welcome in professional baseball for a few years. However, in 1887, a white player in the International League refused to pose for a picture because a black teammate was in it. In response, the International League decided to stop signing African Americans. Adrian "Cap" Anson, the manager of the Chicago White Stockings, refused to let his team play in an exhibition with a team from the International League because the team planned to start a black pitcher. Later that year, Cap Anson stopped the New York Giants from signing George Stovey, a black player. Anson said that no one on the White Stockings would play a team where blacks were welcome. Major League owners heard the message, and by the end of the 1880s, all the teams had released their black players and agreed not to sign any more black players. The first all-black team formed was the Cuban Giants in 1885. The Giants were formed by Frank Thompson, who was the head waiter of the Argyle Hotel, and the team consisted mostly of his waiting staff. They decided to call themselves Cuban because they thought they would face less racism. In 1887, the League of Colored Baseball Clubs was organized. Teams were based in Boston, Philadelphia, New York, Washington, Pittsburgh, Norfolk, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Louisville. It folded after 1 year because of teams' insufficient funding. However, the Giants continued to dominate by barnstorming. Barnstorming is what black players called their lifestyle of traveling from town to town, playing anywhere they could. They could be away from home for weeks at a time. Hotels and restaurants, especially in the South, were hard to come by. They would sleep in all-black hotels, rent rooms in black parts of town, or sleep next to the field they were going to play on. It was a tough lifestyle, but it brought Negro baseball to a lot of towns that wouldn't have seen them play without barnstorming. In 1920, Rube Foster, the father of black baseball, organized the Negro National League. It consisted of the teams Detroit Stars, Homestead Grays, New York Elite Giants, and other teams that could go to stadium. The Eastern Color League was formed in 1923 by white business owners looking to get in on the success of Negro baseball. The Eastern League started rating the National League for its top players. This outraged Foster, and he canceled the World Series scheduled for that year. The Negro Leagues were one of the most exciting sports to watch. They had the same, maybe better talent level as the MLB, and often beat Major League teams when they played in exhibitions. However, the Great Depression forced the Eastern League to shut down in 1928 and the National League to shut down in 1931. Gus Greenlee reopened the National League in 1933 with 6 teams. Greenlee made his money in a number of brackets games, and his team was one of the best financed of all time. The National League and newly formed American League continued to play in the shadow of the Major Leagues. The commissioner of the Major League, Kennesaw Landis, did not want integration. He squashed any attempt for it. However, Landis died in 1945, and the new commissioner, Happy Chandler, wanted integration. Branch Rickey, general manager for the Dodgers, went on a search to find the right player to integrate baseball. He said he was on a scouting trip for the Negro National League, but was actually looking for a player to integrate baseball. He narrowed it down to 3 people: Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, and Don Newcombe. He had a meeting with Robinson where he yelled racial slurs at him to see if he would crack under the pressure and racism he would face. He didn't react, and Rickey knew he had his guy. Robinson signed with the Dodgers, and in 1947, Jackie Robinson shattered the color barrier forever when he took the field that April. All teams had integrated rosters by 1958. Even though integration was a great thing, it hurt almost every Negro League team. Good young players signed with major league teams, and within 2 years, the league was drained of its top talent. The Indianapolis Clowns was the last team to play, but it was mostly a novelty act.
I'm not too much of a singer. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. We'll root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you out at the old ball game.